Welcome back to this week's episode of the show From Idea to Impact, the show that explores the journeys of entrepreneurs turning their ideas into real world change. I'm your host, Quentin McDougald, CEO and founder of Nothing But Web and the Nothing But Web Entrepreneur Network. For this week's episode, I brought in another amazing guest. Tonight we have Tasha Manzie. Tasha, how are you doing tonight? How are you feeling tonight?
I am amazing. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's life been treating you? Things have
Life,
changed.
you know, life is amazing. We talked about that before we got on. I'm alive, happy, no complaints. Life is amazing.
That's always a great thing to never have complaints. And then sometimes we realize that, the biggest complaint we could think about is usually just very minor in the scheme of life. So as
Absolutely.
we did.
Absolutely.
So if those of you that are seeing this and realize, hey, I've saw Tasha, I've seen her before. I actually did her show Courageous Conversations a little while ago. You can check that episode out on her platform, my platform. We did this before, but it's a different because she interviewed me, and tonight I'm gonna be interviewing, or I don't like to call them interviews, having a conversation with her. Tasha, before we begin, this season I've started and I've tried to work on my introduction. So let me know how I do. It's gonna go live. Let's figure it
I
out.
got you. I
All
got
right, here
you.
we go. All right, so Tasha, I know Tasha personally, but Tasha, I'm gonna make it sound beautiful. Let's try it. Tasha is an inspiring founder of Balance by Tasha LLC. She's a spirit-led alignment coach and yoga instructor who has dedicated her life to helping others reconnect to find their true selves. After fulfilling a 14-year career as a dean of students in education and impacting the lives of thousands of students, she decided in September of 2022 to take the plunge into entrepreneurship and go out and start her own practice. Through her transformative services, she empowers her clients to break through personal and professional barriers to help better their lives. On a personal note, I know Tasha because we used to work in the New Britain School District together for many years. And I also had the pleasure of teaching her daughter, which she's probably grown and old now.
About to be 25.
There you go, grown and old. So I've known her for years. Please join me in welcoming Tasha to the show tonight. Tasha, thank you for being a guest on my show tonight. Here's my hand clap. Those of you at home, come on, keep clapping, keep clapping. Here we
I'm
go.
clapping too. Thank you for having me. And I'm clapping for you too.
I appreciate it. Tasha,
Absolutely.
before we begin, can you tell us a little bit about Balance by Tasha LLC?
So I started Balance by Tasha in 2020, actually. And I started it because I had just become certified as a yoga instructor, and I truly believed that that was going to be my path forward, like my only path forward. I had already become certified as a life coach. I was working on my second life coach certification, just because it's just who I am. I I've been a life coach my whole life. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? Maybe one day I can use these tools in my future. I just didn't know that it was going to happen so quick. So yeah, I started Balance by Tasha in 2020 because not only did I realize there was a need in our community for people who look like us to like be bold and brave and to really, I don't know, embark on the journey that everything is possible. I also realized I had reached the ceiling in my own life.
Ooh, talk about
So
that. Talk about the
so
ceiling. How do you know when you've reached the ceiling?
you can call it a ceiling, you can call it a box, you can call it a whatever you want to call it, but it's when your environment that you're in starts to close in on you and it starts to feel like either you've grown too big for the environment or the environment really is closing in on you. It's just you need to move. You need to do something different. And for me, because I'm one of those people where I would have attached the word loyal to myself years ago. Like I'm loyal to a fault. It's very hard for me to detach or disengage from something that I feel like I'm doing from my heart space and my job and in my relationships. And it gets hard for me to leave. So for me, and I don't know if this resonates for other people, when I'm outgrowing my environment or my environment is starting to turn on me, it starts to hurt. like things in my life start to hurt, and I'm like, oh my God, what is that?
Mhm. Yeah.
And I know it's time to go. It took me a while to start to be consciously aware of that's what's happening so that I don't have to suffer as long. But that was always my warning sign. Things in my life started to hurt.
I love the word that you use. You use loyalty because I feel like with anybody, everybody can relate to this. You're working at a particular job, you have a particular career, and we get caught up a lot of the times thinking, okay, I'm going to do this for the job. I'm going to do this for the job. I'm going to do this for the job. But as you continue to go through the years, you'll see that once people get to a certain age in the job, your coworkers, different people, your colleagues, you notice that when they go off into the sunset, they just get replaced. And then I think that helps us to give their perspective as far as, hey, once you realize that, you realize that you might personally want to work towards something different, and I'm glad that you shared your journey with us. But loyalty was a very big word that stuck out with me. You talked about your journey as a dean of students. Can you tell us the pivotal moment that you decided to go off and start your own practice?
When it started to hurt, I'd known for a few years that I'd had outgrown not only my position, but my skills were just evolving. And I knew that I was in a place where my skills, they couldn't compensate me. And
Mm,
that's not to be like, oh, I'm the best at what I do, but I just knew that I had acquired enough that it was time for me to do something else. Because, the school system is a system, and there's only so much you can do and so much change that you can, invoke. And at the end of the day, that ceiling is low
yeah,
in
definitely.
schools where the kids look like us. So I knew that I had a beautiful impact with the students, my relationship with the students and the families. I mean, I could have stayed for another 20 years if it was just that. But realizing that my reach, I couldn't expand my reach in that building. I couldn't expand my work in that building. I knew that what I could do within the scope of the building was limited, and I was starting to step into my limitlessness, and I knew that like
Limitless.
everything was really possible. Like at that job I had reached some of my biggest dreams. They were like on my biggest dreams list, like become the head coach of my old high school. Like I was on my bucket list items. Like I was up
Yeah.
there already as far as what I thought I could obtain. And then as I started to grow and do my own personal work, I realized that that was just the beginning of understanding what it is to dream and accomplish the goals to get you to that dream. I was on step one.
Yeah.
So
And it's great that you recognize that because so many people will put that passion or they can see with themselves or see within themselves, hey, I have a greater calling. And you've taken the plunge, and I definitely applaud you. I wish you nothing but success so far, but with every success comes a failure or two in our journey. So what were some of the biggest challenges that you had to go through when you decided to transition from being a dean of students to going off on your own and starting your own career or your own business?
I think the first challenge was financial insecurity. It was the first time in my life where I knew that if I took this plunge that I would no longer be in the safety of I get a check every 2 weeks. I was fortunate enough that my parents worked really hard and I came from a middle class family. My dad was making over six figures before six figures was a thing,
Okay,
right?
talk
And my
about it.
mom
Okay.
also worked. So I came from a home where financially I never had to worry. So I knew that I was being asked to not only step out on the faith that I could build a new sense of financial security for myself and my family, but that I wanted it to be bigger than anything I had ever seen with my own two eyes or experienced from, the normal people like us.
Mhm.
I just had this calling that I knew it was a possibility, but it was going to require me to give up my financial security, which I held on to like a security blanket. Like,
We all do. Listen, we all do. We all do. Like you
yeah,
said, having that every 2 weeks or however your pay periods land, just knowing that, yes, there's another one. I can keep going and keep going.
absolutely.
It's
If
a
I choose
scary
to go
thing.
blow this over here because I want to, you know what
Yes.
I mean? I'm going to be all right next week. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going
yeah.
to be okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
So that
okay.
was one of the biggest challenges was letting that go. But even bigger than that, I always had this thing where I believed in myself, but I believed in myself to a certain middle level,
Mm,
an average level. And a lot of people would look at it and be like, it's above average. But for me, somewhere inside of me, I always knew it was like, you can go high, but only this high. You know what I mean? So overcoming what I believed was possible was one of the biggest challenges, which a lot of people label as your mindset. So I had to shift my mindset, which was extremely difficult because when you switch your mindset, all this stuff starts coming up in your body and in your emotions. I mean, it's coming up from stuff from 13 years ago, and you're like, what is going on? So it caused me to have to sit in some stuff that I was probably avoiding or was hiding out in the back in my subconscious that I was not aware of. And even bigger than that was getting over needing validation from others. Um, yeah, caring what other people think or worrying what other people think. For me, it was more of a worry. I've always been liked, or maybe I
Mm.
was doing things to make people like me. So I knew that doing this, a lot of people were going to start questioning. I'm evolving into a new person. People are going to start having questions. They're going to start maybe looking at me like, what is this girl doing? I'm not doing something that is normal or, that I had seen for myself, maybe in my family or my immediate surroundings. So I got a lot of side eyes and I got a lot of like, are you sure you want to do this? And I realized that, it only mattered because that's how I was feeling on the inside too. And that I cared too much about what other people thought.
Mm.
I cared too much about what success was based off of other people's opinions of success. And a lot of that comes from the way that we're raised. My parents taught me that success is go to college, success is get a good job, success is be married. But unfortunately, in a lot of our upbringing, that didn't always come with examples, real life examples. It was just
Definitely.
go do, go do, go do. And I was going to do, but I was not feeling the fulfillment. I'm like, I'm doing all the things that everybody's telling me to do, but I don't feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And then getting over caring about what other people think about what I do. So
That's
that
that's all that's
validation.
yeah, that's always a hard thing. And I think you're going in the right direction with anything you do once you realize people are starting to question what you do. Because at the end of the day, you're the person that has to look yourself in the mirror and understand your journey. And sometimes people just won't understand that. A lot of times people just think this is the way you're supposed to be doing. I love how you
Exactly.
mentioned the fact that, your idea or what you believe success was has certain milestones. But no one ever tells you, okay, well, if milestone B doesn't work, what happens? You always see that do this, do this, do this, and
Stick it out,
you're
keep
going through your
going, stay
checklist,
in it.
but everyone always shows the trajectory going up, but they don't see that life has passed and you go down and up and down, and no one ever prepares you for that.
No.
So I love the story. Now, you mentioned about mindset. I'm a very big believer in mindset and shifting mindset. A lot of people have heard of mindset coaching. You, on the other hand, are a spirit-led alignment coach. Can you explain what that is to those people out there today?
So mindset is part of it. Energy is another part of it, understanding our energy and who we are as beings on this earth planet, and just really understanding how we operate, like how our systems operate. I feel like when you come to earth, when you come here, nobody gives you a manual on yourself. So we're just out here doing what our parents did. They're out here doing what their grandparents did. We all just trying to raise up, the next generation, just do it a little
Mhm.
bit better. But I feel like we probably should read the manual
Yeah.
and we probably should
That's
read the
true.
manual on
That's true.
why our brains do what they do, why our hearts do what they do. And I am a seeker. I'm curious by nature. So I want to know how everything works, why it works the way it does. And that's what led me to mindset. I didn't realize how powerful our mindset is, right?
Mm.
So it's mindset. And once I did that work, I realized, okay, but I still feel funny. Like I still don't feel good. And then
Yeah.
mindset led me into energy, and energy led me right back to God. Like we get our energy from source.
Yes.
What we choose to do with that energy is on us. But for you to do the right thing with your energy, you have to know how your energy works. So I spent years studying, I mean, everything. I've studied everything. I've just because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to do it from the highest place that I can understand it so that I
Yes.
can teach everybody else. And that's how I've always operated in everything I've done, from coaching basketball to being a dean to everything I've ever done. Like I try to infuse the best knowledge and wisdom into anything. And I learned what was missing was me. I didn't understand how to operate me. I didn't understand that, oh, when I'm paying attention to this, and then I put a feeling behind it, and now I'm all angry about it, that I'm giving my energy away, my power away. My power is in my attention and my awareness and in my body and in the way I move and the way, and then I choose where I want to put it. And that's how I reach my goals. So once I connected
Everything.
those things, and there's way more to it, but you might have to hire me for me to,
Listen, listen,
I
listen.
can't give
We're
all
gonna
of
put
that.
all the booking
I can't
information
give
at the
all
end.
of that in a
Listen, please don't, please don't. You
in
know,
a
this is
20-minute
sample
thing.
size. I'm gonna tell
But it
them
was the
exactly at the
merging.
end. We'll talk about where they can get all the information. So, with your
Absolutely.
coaching sessions, how do you integrate the spiritual practices such as yoga, meditation? How do you go about doing that with your coaching sessions for those out there that need a spirit led alignment coach? I got it
Yeah,
right there.
I call myself an energy alignment coach because I teach you how to understand the energy that's within you and how to reroute it from all the things that you don't want to happen. Because a lot of times we get stuck looking at all the things that are going wrong, or being in fear and worrying about not reaching our goals or not being able to do this and not, and that's where the free will and giving your attention to the wrong thing. So I teach people how to shift and reroute that energy and give it to the right thing. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do to get what I want. This is what I need to do because that's the way it works. That's the way the system works. And that's the way
Mhm.
God works. This is what I need to do to ensure that I have the energy, going in the right way to reach all the goals that I have. So I just teach people how to put themselves in alignment with themselves and all the
Okay.
things that they hold important, and to use that energy to pull to laser focus into what it is that you're trying to do, because we just have not been taught. And I had to teach myself, and it took me a very long time to get here. So I just show people, and it's not shortcuts. I just show you how not to suffer so long in the hard parts, if that makes sense.
That's half the battle. You know, some people accept suffering and don't realize that they're suffering. So if you're teaching people how to navigate through that, that's amazing. Um,
Absolutely. So the yoga and the meditation come in because we have to be able to understand what we're feeling and understand how to process what's going on in our mind, and understanding, what thoughts and stuff that we're having that are attached to just old beliefs and just things that we really don't need to be attached to anymore. So I teach people how to let all that go and then take that energy, point it in the right direction, and do what you need to do.
so I'm gonna need a session, because just it's almost September. You know what time that means? It's September, so I'm gonna need that to
So,
prepare myself. You
absolutely.
you
I
you
understand
know
that September
exactly what I'm
time.
talking about. So
I do. Absolutely.
yeah, definitely
Absolutely.
do that. So with
Mhm.
those amazing services, can you share one success story that you had? I mean, I know you probably had a lot of success stories. Which one are you most proud of so far with your coaching?
Um, and of course, never say names, right? But I had a client who, when I first started working with her, I was like, oh my God, this is not going to work out. Like, I don't know if I can help her. Like, she had a lot to give, and she had already had a lot of energy. And I'm very kind of chill and calm, and it was overwhelming me to a certain degree. But I stuck with it because I just kept praying, and it always came back. Yes, this is your client. Yes, this is the person you're supposed to work with. Because I always ask for guidance, and I make sure that we are aligned to even work together. So I listened. I did what I
Okay.
was supposed to do, and she went from her attention being in like 15 places. Like, I think I'm supposed to be doing this. I want to do this. I have an issue with my sister. I don't even think I like my husband. And all of these things started coming up in our sessions. And I got her to realize that that's why she was always tired. That's why it was so hard to make a decision. That's why she was feeling unhappy. She was giving attention and energy and putting all of these emotions into the exact things that she didn't want to deal with. So I showed her, I gave her some goals. Like, what is your big goal? And she gave me some stuff, and she thought that she was going to build a business. She was already a licensed therapist. She really thought she was going to build a business, become a yoga coach. She was like, you inspire me. I think I want to coach. Come to find out, after we got all of that stuff cleared out and got her to really sit in her vision, she now is, this is funny, she's now coaching couples. She's taking her already practice that she has, and she's coaching couples. So she didn't have to change much. She just had to learn how to stop feeding all the things she didn't want and to how to get real focused. And then that was the beauty that came from that. So, I mean, that was one of my favorite stories because I really did not think it was going to end up like that. So to see it become so beautiful, because it's
Yeah.
not about me. I don't heal anybody. I don't do any of that. It's about you doing what you need to do with your own, capabilities and capacities.
So you helped her. So as you said, you helped her read the me manual. She she opened up the me manual that we all are, we
Yes,
are born with, and like you said, you have to read it to find out what's going on.
absolutely.
Listen,
Absolutely.
that's a great story because I know myself, any entrepreneur, we feel like we need to do so much, but I feel like me personally, once I narrowed the focus as far as what I wanted to do, because at first you think you could do everything, and then once I figure, okay, hey, I don't need to do that, get rid of that. I don't need to do that. Okay, I'm really good at this. All right, let me incorporate this and success. That's what it comes from.
Absolutely. That's
That's what
how
it
it
comes
works.
from.
But a lot of our hangups and hiccups are usually involving our emotions and
Yeah.
old beliefs. And a lot of people don't know how to get to the root of that so they can get it out of the way. So that's kind of where I step in, and I teach you how to stay in this energy so that things don't have to fall apart for you to put them back together again. You can remain in your center and always be doing everything from that middle ground and that focal point. Everything you do from, I mean, me doing this work has allowed me to be a better mom. Number one, first and foremost, it has allowed me to be a better me because I'm so comfortable and confident, and I love myself. Like, for the first time in my life, I love myself completely. All the parts of me that struggle, all the parts of me that aren't perfect, I love me. So
Mm.
me doing that and setting that example for my kids and staying in that space of just, I'm good. It allows me to be that with them. I'm not testy anymore. I'm not aggravated all the time. And if I am aggravated, I know I need to go take a time out. Like, there's something going on in me. So I no longer take that stuff out on my children. I'm a solo parent. I don't want to call myself a single mom because the energy of that is so negative and
It is.
heavy. I'm a
Yeah.
solo parent by choice. I chose to do this way because I knew that I would be my highest self if I left that relationship. I knew that I could emerge into my higher self. So I make sure that I'm good, right? So now being a mom has become more of a blessing than a burden. Being a woman has become more of a blessing than a burden. Being a human has become all the blessing, all the
Definitely.
blessing, because I understand the manual now, you know?
See, that menu. Listen, you gonna have to write this menu. You gonna have to write the
Listen.
me menu. Listen, it is you heard about it here first, so don't anybody try to take the idea. She's gonna write that me menu.
Manual's
Copyright right
coming.
now. We're gonna timestamp this, date this right
Yeah.
now. So yeah, definitely the menu. So you have served many roles. You've been an educator, of course, a mom. Your most important role, you served yourself. That's important. A coaching. How do you manage to balance all these roles and maintaining your authenticity and ensuring your own well-being?
I know my center. I know what I do, why I do it, what I'm doing it for. I stay in complete alignment with Source, with God, and I stay focused on what keeps me feeling the best in order to go out and do the work that I need to do. And for me, I stay aligned with love, abundance. I believe that everything we want in this world is available for us. We just have to do the work to keep ourselves in vibration high enough to receive it.
Mm,
Period. we got to let go of old stuff and to allow new stuff in. That's pretty much what that means for me. So I stay in alignment with love, abundance, and natural law. And natural law for me is the way the universe works, the way God set this up. That's the blueprint. That's the part of the manual. Is God gave us what we need to be following, and it's higher. It's a higher
Yeah.
following than the things of this, physical world.
Yeah.
And when you can tap into that and follow that roadmap and really understand how you feel on the inside and how that those feelings are like a compass for you to navigate the world, you start to float a little different. I call it floating different. I feel different because I am different. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So it's that part, doing that. So
Yeah. Listen, floating back to the menu. Back to the menu.
back to it. Absolutely.
So, with your wonderful business, Balanced by Tasha, what are some new projects or initiatives that you have that you're working on currently? Would you like to share any about those things?
Yeah, I actually have a group coaching. Um, I don't know if I want to call it a program yet because I haven't put my little flyer together yet, but I just created it. And it's
Okay.
all about people pleasing. I realized that people pleasing is a symptom of some self-worth issues. And I just want to be able to give people a roadmap and create and provide support for people who really are just done, giving their energy into caring about what other people think or trying to impress people or, trying to just be liked or be nice and like always saying the right thing. Like that era is over.
It should
You
be.
can't be your authentic self and get what you want out of this life if you're always trying to make everybody else happy. So that's for the moms, entrepreneurs, that's for everybody. So that's what I'm doing right now. And by the time this comes out, it'll already be up, open for registration for people who are looking. It's going to be a 6-week program, and we meet every week and we get together and I'd show you the roadmap to put that people pleasing stuff in the background, so that you can step up and do
So
what you
it's
need to
open
do.
to is it open to male, females?
Absolutely.
How many participants? What's the details? Is it the
So
first 10 people?
I
Okay.
would honestly, I'm going to cap it at around 20 people because there's
Okay.
something about the intimacy of allowing everybody the opportunity and space to participate. The bigger the group sometimes, and maybe down the road when I'm a better leader and facilitator in that area, I can do bigger groups. But for you to get the best from me, I'm capping it for myself to ensure that everybody gets what they need at 20 people. So the first 20 people, to sign up
There
are
you
going
go.
to have an
So
extremely
pop
incredible experience.
and
So
it popped up. Wait, right, no, right there on the screens. Boom, it's right there. So first 20 people. 20 is a great number because, like you said, it's about energy. Giving your energy to one is hard. Now you're giving your energy to 20, but if you do it in a 6-week cycles, I think definitely everybody would get a lot out of it, a lot of
absolutely.
benefits. Definitely
Absolutely.
important. So, what are your long-term goals for Balance by Tasha? And what's your goals to make an impact in the world with what you're doing? Because you talked about spirituality, you talked about yoga, you talked about mindset, centering ourselves, everything. What's your long-term goals? What's your goal to make an impact?
My long-term goal is to speak on very big stages. One part of it,
Okay.
because I don't ever want to rely on social media or any of this stuff, technology,
Mhm.
to reach people. So I want to make sure that I can build an audience that is real people in real life in real time, because energy, I mean, it's all about the energy. And I think I've also created events. I'm starting to get in the event world because I like to curate experiences so people can feel what it's like to be in the energy that I'm talking about. I need
Okay.
you to feel it so you can be like, oh my, what is that? I want that. Because
Yeah.
as you start to understand this system, you start to understand that feelings are the key. You gotta feel it. You have to embody it in order to be it, right? So that's another thing that I want to get more into, and I've done one, which was very
Okay.
successful. And my biggest thing that I want to do is create a home called Rise House. So if somebody steal it, I'm putting it out there because I trust that
It's already here. You got the
what
beam
up
in your rise house. Listen, I saw it. I heard it. It's
what is
documented.
mine is for me. So
It's
I'm gonna
documented.
create a home called Rise, right? And it started off as the idea for single moms because I'm gonna get vulnerable for a second.
Okay.
I had to give up the house that I was renting because part of my financial insecurity that I had to have meant that I could no longer take the money that I was earning and put that amount of money into my house. I had to downsize in order to fit my new lifestyle where I was not making the money that I was making because I wanted to experience still being happy with less, right?
Mm.
And I knew I had to find happiness with less, but I wasn't broken. I wasn't I wasn't in a space where I feel like, "Ooh, I need to go to a shelter or I need to play into this like, oh my God,
Mhm.
I didn't need to play
Yeah.
into that. I needed to go to a place where they understood that I was just going through a reset. Like I was resetting myself mentally, physically, and spiritually, and I just needed a soft place to land while I rebuilt myself. So I
Mhm.
want to create a space for women to come do that, whether you need it for 3 months or 6 months, a temporary place for women and especially women with children. Bring you and
Yeah.
your kids, and we are going to be that soft place for you to lay your head and get it and get back in touch with yourself so that you can move in the direction that you want to move. So that's my big goal. Like
Okay.
that
Listen.
that's I'm passionate about that because that's all I ever needed in that moment. I just need
Yeah.
1 minute to collect myself. I don't need no pity. I don't
Mhm.
need any of that. I just need you to know I'm working on something, but I need a minute.
Yes.
So I
You
want to
see
provide that for
the
people
breathe.
because I think we
Ah,
all
yeah,
need
the
that.
calm. Okay,
Absolutely.
so in the future we're gonna see you on TED Talk stages.
Listen, that's one of
Definitely
my that's on the
TED
list.
Talk. Okay, you're gonna have a
Absolutely.
nationwide program called the Rise House that you're gonna be creating and putting
Absolutely.
together.
Absolutely.
And much more. The sky's the
Yeah,
limit always when you believe in you. And
absolutely.
your true commitment to and purpose and showing the power of believing in you. So with that
Absolutely.
being said, what advice do you have for someone who feels like they're stuck in the traditional career path, but is hesitant about pursuing what their true passion is? What's a piece of advice? One or two things about it.
I actually wrote that one down because I
Okay.
wanted to make sure because I'm not big on giving people advice that works for me. I can give you tools that work, but my advice is for me. So this is what I would give,
Okay.
you know, maybe as clarity for someone who is in that position where they're like, do I jump? I jumped all the way off the cliff. You don't have to jump all the way off the cliff. For you, it could just be a step. So I would say our whole future is unknown. Everything about tomorrow is unknown. So get
Mhm.
comfortable with that idea already. Everything outside of this moment going forward is unknown. The whole world could shift tomorrow. The whole
Yeah.
world, right? But how do you respond? How do you react? That's what you're doing right now. How you live your life in the everyday is how you're preparing for your future. So work on your self worth because we're all deserving of a beautiful life. Be the best version of yourself, and that's through your self worth. Courage is cultivated. I'm only courageous now because I took tiny steps, tiny courageous steps that led me to the big leap, right? And I'm still practicing courage every day because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I can plan for it,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know,
But
but
you can't.
I never know. So that's what I would say to the person. Get comfortable with the idea that the unknown is our normal.
Mhm. Listen, that's great advice. I like the fact that you wrote it down. Some people at this part of this segment of the show, I usually ask people, what are some words you have or advice, and you hit it out the park.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
Those are definitely words of encouragement, of advice that anybody can use. Whether you're
Absolutely.
stuck, whether you're progressing. I know myself personally, I'm going to use those. I like that. I think you had to play on the C words. What was that? Courageous. You wrote it down. It was something with C's, the letter
Courage
C.
is cultivated.
Courage is cultivating. I like that. I like
Absolutely.
courage is cultivating.
Yep. It's not something
Yeah,
we're born with. It's
yeah.
cultivated.
It's cultivated over time, brick by brick. I like that.
Absolutely.
Tasha, sad to say, this is the end of the conversation. Before we wrap, is there anything that you would like to say? But before that, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. What's the best way to get in contact with you? Because I know a lot of people are probably watching tonight and they're like, hey, I love her energy. I see her passion. I need more.
I'm old school. So I have, if you go to my Instagram
Okay.
account, Tasha Manzie, I have all the links.
All right.
Everything you want is in the links, right? So go to Tasha Manzie. You can get to all my links, but I
Okay.
give my number out because I'm a
Okay.
person to person coach. I'm a people to people person. I believe that there's nothing more valuable than our energy. Our energy is our power and what we choose to do with it. That's how we get to the things that we want to get. So I drop my number.
All right,
Okay.
drop it. Go ahead. It's gonna
Now
pop right up on the
don't be
screen.
calling me because you just want to say hi. Call me because you're serious about doing the work,
Listen, they're gonna
that you
call
need
for
to
the
do.
TED Talk. They're gonna call you for the TED Talk.
TED
Hey,
Talk. I hope you're listening. I hope you're
listen,
watching. Here's my
they listen,
number.
they're watching, they're like, okay, how do I get? So what's the number? I'm gonna put it right on the screen for them to follow. Go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead and say
It's
it.
yep, 959-208-1699. That's how you can reach me. You can send me a text. You can DM me and just say, "Hey, can we chat? Let's see if this is a good fit." And that's how we go.
Listen, that's always important to find a good fit because nowadays everybody will take everyone and they don't care about the fit. So as you can see, she's passionate about
I
it.
care
She's going
about
for
the
the
fit. If you
perfect
don't
fit.
fit, I'm not taking you.
And of course, she's living it. She's living what she's saying. A lot of people, especially in social media now, they'll tell you one thing and then the camera will go off and they're doing something totally different. And now you're invested in that person and realize once you look up and it's like, wait, this person that I'm following, I'm trying to emulate what they're doing. They're not even living that life. So I appreciate you for living a lifestyle. I appreciate you for being my guest this week. Before we close,
Absolutely.
anything you would like to say?
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak on your platform. It is beautiful to see the things that you are doing. You are a man that, can inspire a lot of people. And I'm sure you already inspire a lot of people. And continued blessings to you and your beautiful family.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So without further ado, this is From Idea to Impact. Thank you for watching. Have a great night. Tasha, thank you very much. We're
Thank
inspired.
you.